Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons Today. Happy Monday. Hopefully, maybe you have the day off. Maybe you don't. If you're not, well, either way, you're going to enjoy today's video regarding your Atlanta Falcons' latest news and rumors. Really looking back at minicamp, which took place just a couple of days ago. Again, minicamp short, that's why it's called minicamp, but still, there are some takeaways that I think are pretty darn good. Falcons.com had a good write-up on that. We're going to dive into that as well as some other Falcons news and rumors. So, of course, Falcons have been up practicing at Flowery Branch over the past couple of weeks, obviously with rookie minicamp and then a little bit of OTA action and then minicamp as well. And Atlanta has been really not trying to go crazy because it is minicamp. There's no pads on. There's nothing crazy, but they're really trying to install new offensive schemes, install new defensive schemes, and get all the new players, whether they're rookies or first-year free agent guys, quarterbacks, up to date on what Dean Pease and Arthur Smith are trying to go ahead and do. Well, speaking of all this, Falcons reporter Tori, I think I say his last name is McElhaney? I don't know how you say your last name, but Tori is a Falcon reporter, Falcon beat writer, and she had a really good article on AtlantaFalcons.com talking about her top 5 takeaways from these offseason training activities, the mini camps, and what the Falcons have really been trying to do on the football field. We're going to go through those, see what she has to say regarding the Atlanta Falcons, and then a little bit at the end, Jadeveon Clowney talked about being a Falcon, which is a weird quote. We'll give you that here coming up in just a couple of minutes. So, let's go through these. Top 5 minicamp takeaways, starting with number 1, where the receiver numbers will shrink. And this is obviously 100% accurate. We talked about this because Arthur Smith talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but Tori from the Atlanta Falcons did mention that this wide receiver depth chart is not going to be the same probably by the start of training camp, which again, when you look at the wide receiver depth chart, you see a bunch of really random guys that are thrown in there. You have your top of the board, obviously, you're thinking of a guy Brian Edwards and Drake London. Those are probably going to be your 1 and 2. But who's going to be 3? Like, who's going to be 4? Who's 5 and who's 6? They probably keep 5 or 6 total on this roster, and so a couple are going to have to be let go. And I look at a guy like Auden Tate. He's one I want to focus in on today. What does Auden Tate have, right? Is he going to be this massive, big-time catch radius, jump ball, deep ball kind of guy? Or is he just kind of a wish he played to that level, but really never gets to that level, and that's what we've seen throughout his entire career? Like, is he going to be a guy to make the roster? Is he going to make it over Geronimo Allison? Will Allison make it over him? I have no idea, but it is true, and it is correct that, Tori's right here, they will go ahead and get rid of some wide receivers based on everything we've heard at press conferences. The question really is, when will they start to do so, right? We've seen them at minicamp. We've seen them at OTAs. We've seen them on the football field. Are they going to wait and let training camp begin and then start cutting people? Do it before training camp? I really don't know, but just know that the wide receiver depth chart will shrink, and we'll cover it here on the channel. Add a break, pin comment down below. Let's keep going. Who is the number 2 wide receiver on this roster? Do you have one? Like, Drake London is 1, and I think most people are going to assume that he's 1 right now, but who is the number 2 wide receiver on this roster? Give me your thoughts. Let me know down below right now. Okay, number 2 is an interesting takeaway here. Classroom is greater than the field. And I'll stay short on this one, but basically what she was saying in her article is that they are not so much worried on what's happening on the football field. They're focused there, but the focus is off the football field. Dean Pease said in a press conference that last year's defense was the vanilla version of Dean Pease's defense. He's trying to make this way more intricate and get those guys up to speed a lot faster, and so that's what they mean by the classroom has been the focus here this early offseason. They'll work on the field stuff when they get closer to training camp. All right, number 3, it's a strong secondary, and she's right about this. This is the best position group on the entire Atlanta Falcons. It has to be the secondary. What they were able to do by drafting A.J. Terrell and his, blossoming into a star has opened up a chance for this defense to be a lot better than it was this past year. Now, Terrell was great, but now he gets Casey Hayward on the other side, and Hayward has been practicing a ton, kind of in and out of the lineup. I think a little bit of whether it's rest or whether it's tweaking. I'm not really sure, but he'll be fine by the start of training camp. But he really creates a dynamic cornerback duo, the likes of which Atlanta has not seen in a very, very long time. You pair that up with the young safeties that are on this football team, Isaiah Oliver possibly in the slot. Like, this is going to be the best part of the entire defense, most likely the entire football team. I'm excited to see what the secondary is going to be able to do. Now, rank this Falcons secondary on a scale of 1 to 32. 1 being the best secondary in the National Football League, 32 being the worst secondary in the National Football League. Give me your ranking on the Atlanta Falcons secondary. I think they're top 10. Are they top 5 is the question, right? Because top 10 is definitely there, at least top 12. But are they top 5? Give me your ranking for this Falcons secondary down below right now. Okay, before we get into number 4, I want to quickly show you the Kyle Pitts jerseys that are still available right now. The authentic Nike NFL Kyle Pitts jerseys in all the different colors and all the different sizes, and obviously in men's and women's and kids sizes as well. Jetsports.com/Pitts is the link that you need to go and pick up your jersey. You see that on your screen right now. It's also down below in the description box. So pick up your official Kyle Pitts jersey now. That way you don't wait till the last minute and then, oh, I'm going to a Falcon game. Is it going to get here in time with shipping? No, you get it during the offseason, and it's ready to rock for week 1 of the NFL season. Pick up your Kyle Pitts jersey down below right now. Okay, next takeaway, faces of the franchise set the tone, and she focuses really in here on A.J. Terrell. It's A.J. Terrell and Grady Jarrett in her article that Tori talked about on AtlantaFalcons.com. Now, this is interesting because Atlanta still has some stars, and I think that we overlooked that. We talk about the worst parts of this football team, the offensive line, the weak running backs, the random wide receivers, talking about the quarterback spot, talking about the defensive line. They still have some stars, and I think it's led by A.J. Terrell. I think Terrell has a chance to go ahead and go from being a really good player on this football team to being the best player on this football team and being one of the top players in the entire National Football League. He already is a top 5 corner, but why can't he be the best corner? Like, why can't he be the second best corner? I think that Terrell is going to take a huge step forward, and I really hope Grady Jarrett does the same. We know Grady Jarrett's really great, but he's not considered one of the best D tackles in the league because of who he played around, right? You don't put him in the Aaron Donald category or formerly the Fletcher Cox category because he doesn't have elite pass rushers around him to help him, get away from double teams. He's a great player. I think we're going to see him take that next step this year. Not saying they've really improved the defensive line dramatically, like they're not the Rams, but they're way better than they have been. I'm excited to see what he does as a possible, again, cornerstone, which they agreed upon by giving it a contract extension, cornerstone of this franchise. All right, final takeaway from this article in terms of the minicamp stuff, Deion Jones' future is uncertain. She goes in on the full situation we talked about here a lot on the channel. That's why you should be a subscriber, because we covered all this before. But, Deion Jones, the offseason shoulder surgery, the drafting of all the young players at linebacker, will he show up? Will he be traded? Will he be cut? I still will be shocked if he's at training camp. I think he's on the football field right now. I think they cut him eventually. I mean, it's post-June 1st. I don't see anyone wanting to trade for him. I think they'll just wait for him to be cut, and he will most likely be let go. And honestly, it's for the better. I mean, go get the final contract of your career somewhere else, and let's let these young linebackers shine. Let's let them play. I want to see Troy Anderson out there. I think Troy Anderson, a second-round draft pick, should play right away if he's ready to go. And so I think Deion Jones will be off this roster, but it does remain an uncertainty. Now, training camp is happening, obviously, in a couple of months. Are you guys going to go to training camp? Falcons will have some open training camps that are going to be really, really good. And I've been to Falcons training camp before as a member of the media. It's a good time. If you guys can go to Falcons training camp up at Flowery Branch, let me know down below in the comment section. Okay, let's go ahead and get to one final thing here. Does this tweet matter? No, but it is interesting. I want to show you guys. It's from Ari Mirov, I think, at My Sports Update. I think I might pronounce his name wrong. I butcher names all the time. Either way, look at this tweet. Hashtag Browns defensive end Jadeveon Clowney says he returned to Cleveland because Deshaun Watson is with the team. He probably was going to sign with the Falcons if Watson ended up there. Quote, I was all about where my boy Deshaun was going, end quote. Now, does this actually matter? No, because he is a Brown, and obviously he's going to stay a Brown. He's on a contract, and Watson's not going to be a Falcon. So why are we talking about it? I just think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating what could have happened if Deshaun Watson would have come to Atlanta. Now, there's the plus side of getting a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, who was really good rushing the passer last year, maybe getting some other wide receivers. There were talks of, who was it? There was a couple of receivers who were talked about wanting to come play with Deshaun Watson. It was Jarvis Landry, I think. Either way, however, the flip side of this is Deshaun Watson's going to get suspended. I mean, it's going to be a lengthy suspension according to the reports that I have read around Twitter and around the league. And so I think it was the right move to not go ahead and get a guy like Deshaun Watson. We talked about that. However, the defensive line would have been a little better with Clowney. I mean, Clowney can be a double-digit sack guy. I think 9.5 last year, 8.5. He had enough sacks to really bolster this defensive line. And while I think the defensive line is much better, I think it's going to be just fine. I have no worries about what they're going to be able to do. There still is a little part of me that goes, man, don't you wish you would have gotten Jadeveon Clowney? Now, there's money issues, and he's getting a little older, and he's had injuries in the past, so it's not that big of a deal, but it would have been interesting, alternate universe, to see what would happen to Deshaun Watson would have come to Atlanta. Glad he didn't, though, because he's going to get suspended. The Falcons have signed, or potentially, could they sign Clowney next year? What do you think? If he has a good year with Cleveland, what about signing him next year? If you think they should, type Y down below for yes. If they should not, type N down below for no. Okay, all time here today on Atlanta Falcons news and rumor video here, keeping you guys up to date on minicamp stuff, on OTA stuff, on obviously we're way past, but rookie minicamp stuff. We want to keep you guys up to date on what's happening on the Atlanta Falcons field, so make sure you guys are subscribed as we continue to march towards training camp. June's almost over. End of July, you start reporting, and it's going to come here a lot quicker than you think. If you are excited for what the future holds with the Atlanta Falcons, go down below and subscribe. We're actually doing a mailbag video, first by myself and a while later on this week, so hashtag Falcons in the comment section down below to ask your mailbag question right now. If you're a subscriber and ask a good question, the odds of you being polled and featured on our show are pretty darn high, so go down below and ask away. For Atlanta Falcons today, producer Jeffrey, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. To the rest of your day.